So, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the great American hockey players of the 1970s, this guy's been a kind of a forgotten superstar. I think he was one of the most important and underrated defensemen in the NHL in the 1970s into the 80s, and he was a precursor to the Detroit Red Wings' success under the Steve Yzerman years. And I want you to just put this in perspective. If this player would ever play with Steve Yzerman, the Wings would have won cups well before, because he needed a good defenseman to make the offense flow, and he got it with the Russians. But if this guy was playing with Yzerman, who knows how many cups he would have won. So today we're going to be talking about the legendary Reed Larson. Now, Reed Larson is, of course, very important defenseman and the former captain of the Detroit Red Wings, who played 904 regular season games in the NHL between 76 and 1990. Now, he's a member of the United States Hockey Hall of Fame and well-deserved. Now, he grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 6 feet, 195 pounds, and he first came to major prominence, ladies and gentlemen, in Roosevelt High School in the Minnesota program, because Minnesota makes great high school players. He eventually moved on to the University of Minnesota, where he put up some really, really good totals. Now, after when he was drafted, actually, he was drafted out of high school. I forgot to tell you there. The WHA's Minnesota Fighting Saints took him 220 overall, sort of like what you call a anticipatory pick. But he went on to University of Minnesota, played 3 years there, and put up very strong totals, almost a point a goal pace over 3 seasons, which led him to be drafted 22nd overall in the 1976 draft. By my estimation, he was 20 at the time, so he was eligible. So he was drafted as an 18-year-old, WHA, drafted as a 20-year-old out of university. Now, he entered a career with University of Minnesota. He was the NCAA All-Tournament member in 75, All WCHA first team in 76, and he made it to the Red Wings in the 77 season for 14 games. In 1978, ladies and gentlemen, put up one of the greatest seasons for a rookie defenseman in NHL history. 60 points, ladies and gentlemen, 75 games, with 2 assists in 7 games. Now, what really stood out with Reed Larson was the mobility of his play. He was almost like European with a little bit of flying Frenchman. Now, when he grew up in that working class neighborhood in South Minneapolis, he spent a lot of time playing in outdoor rinks and practicing his shooting in his garage, which is kind of a Canadian style. Now, in the off season, he kept busy and in shape by water skiing and gymnastics, developing his arm strength and powerful slap shot. Now, he was, like I said, he was the league leader for Minneapolis when he went to the state tournament in 74, which led to the Fighting Saints draft him. Now, Larson was mentored, of course, by the great Herb Brooks at U of M, and the Gophers program really appreciated him. He was considered one of the 50 greatest players in University of Minnesota hockey history in their Legends of Life tribute in 2001. Now, unfortunately, the start of his career was kind of bizarre, because he joined Detroit near the end of the 77 season despite a charge over his head for assaulting an official during a WCHA game, which can kind of happen because sometimes on ice leads to off-ice incidents. Now, the 14 games he appeared in were very cool, but he was also named to Team USA that year for the 77 World Hockey Championships, but missed the tournament due to a shoulder injury. A lot of people were looking forward to him playing against Team Canada and the Phil Esposito and Tony Esposito led Team Canada. And he was still being scouted at the time because some Canadian teams were also interested in picking him up. Now, his first NHL season, again, he had the most points ever by a rookie defenseman. Now, his powerful slap shot was well known, and he also became the first American defenseman to score 200 goals, and he appeared in a 78, 80, and 81 NHL All-Star game as the Red Wings representative. Now, he finally made his international debut for the U.S. team at the 81 World Hockey Championships, and also that fall's Canada Cup tournament where Team USA skated as well. Now, he spent 10 NHL seasons in Detroit until the Red Wings traded him in a very controversial deal for Mike O'Connell in 1986. Now, he played another 2 seasons for the Bruins before ending his NHL career in 89-90 with the Sabres. Now, his professional career continued overseas in Italy, where he was player coach for 4 seasons, before returning to his home state for the final 9 games of his career for the IHL's Minnesota Moose in '95. Now, he also played 6 games at Roller Hockey International for the Minnesota Arctic Blast in '94. Now, since retirement, Reed has been very busy in the insurance business. He's also very active in the Old Timers Charity Hockey system, and of course the Heroes of Hockey contest at several NHL All-Star weekends. Now, his induction to the United States Hall of Fame came at age 40. So, tremendous honor. I got to do a Hall of Fame around the same time, and it was quite an honor for me. So I really understand that at people at young age being recognized is more for the fact of being important to the genre they were a part of. I was the first award-winning journalist from my home region in the ACNAs and CNA awards, and fortunately my home region inducted me as a builder, and I do appreciate it. And Reed's induction was quite important as well, because he paved the way for a lot of similar players down the road. So again, just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, to put it in perspective, from 1978 to 1986, okay, before he was traded to Bruins, he scored 19, 18, 22, 27, 21, 22, 23, 17, 22 goals. Despite a lot of penalty minutes, but in those totals, the points, 60, 67, 66, 58, 60, 74, 62, 62, and 67. And he also had a chance as well to play for the Oilers, the Islanders, and his hometown North Stars for 11 games, which was part of their playoff run in '89. But he missed out on playing for a Canadian team. A lot of people thought he would end up with a big Canadian squad, but it never panned out. Now, 940 games, 222 assists, 222 goals, 463 assists, 685 points, 1,391 minutes in a sin bin. But the playoff totals were not too bad as well. 4-7-1 in 32 games. And, of course, the 88 playoff run when he skated in the 8th contest. But he was past his prime with Boston. But it was quite interesting to see Larson in a Bruin jersey, because the Detroit and Boston did have a very, very strong rivalry back in the day. But I think it's best to say this, and I hope you take it the right way. Detroit not making the playoffs for 5 straight years when he's there really worked on him. I think he wanted to be part of a playoff run. And he never really got a heavy playoff run. The most playoff games he took part in was 78, and Detroit, of course, lost to Montreal in the quarterfinals, even though he put up a good effort. So if you're talking top 20 defensemen of the 1970s, Reed Larson would be upper echelon, at least top 15, maybe top 10. It depends what type of media members we're talking to, because he didn't really get much press in the Quebec media, even though his statistics were better than Savard and Lapointe and Robinson. So, put that in perspective. And sometimes not as good as Denny Potvin, but look who he was playing with. He didn't have 3 lines to play with. He literally had 2 lines to Scrabble. So, anyway, that's the legacy of Reed Larson. Thanks for listening. Bye.